Hello world, welcome back to another Metared Stage 1 CTF challenge video. In this video, we'll be walking through the crypto challenge Filename. Let's get into it. Can you break this? They give us a flag.png.xor, and I already have it over here. And if we open up HXD, don't mind this quite yet, and we put the XOR file in here, you'll notice it's a bunch of gibberish. However, the file name kind of tells us what we need to do. We need to XOR a key with this file to get a PNG out. So how do we go about doing that? Well, if we look at a normal PNG, we know the first several bytes are static amongst all PNGs, which means they never change, they remain the same. So using that theory, we could potentially brute force the bytes by XORing each brute forced byte with each byte of the XORed flag. And if it equals the characters from each of the header bytes from the PNG, then we can build our key based off of that, right? Our key that we need to XOR by. And our goal is to get to a point where the key repeats itself, because we know that if it repeats itself, we have the full key. So we want to be able to XOR as many bytes as we can that remain stagnant. That way we can determine what the key will be. And that's what I've done with this decode script right here. So let's open that up in Python in our Visual Studio Code editor. And here I've imported iter-tools, and we don't actually need iter-tools anymore because of how I solved this, so I can get rid of that. And we have the pwn library because I just used the XOR function from it since it's so good. And then we have string to kind of get our character set of all printable characters for the possible characters the key could be. I was hoping, and I was right, that the key is actually something readable, because you can XOR unreadable bytes and that be the key, but I was betting that they used a more readable string for that. So here I had the header bytes that you saw from the HXD, those first, I think, 16 bytes. And then I start with an empty key right here, and then of course the character set of all printable characters. And then I open the XOR flag as a file, and then I read it as bytes, right? Because we're dealing with bytes and not pure readable characters here. And then I loop through the header bytes, and then I loop through the characters in the character set, and I compare the header byte to XORing the character to the byte of the file that occurs at whatever index I'm on in the header, right? Because the PNG header should match byte for byte the encrypted XOR file. So if that header byte is equal to the character in the character set XORed with the file at the current index, then we append that character to our key. And then we build our key based off that. And then you can see what the key is right here, but I'm going to go ahead and execute this just so you can see what that first part looks like, right? So we'll comment this part out. And then we'll do F5, Python file. And as you can see, the key is being built. Now you see it starts to repeat itself. So we know what the key is. It's welcome with an exclamation mark. Because once you have the full XOR key, it just repeats itself across the file while it's encrypting. Because once you reach the end of the XOR key, then it just starts over at the beginning of the XOR key. So that being said, we know that the key is welcome in Leet speak with an exclamation mark. And we can uncomment this last part where all I'm doing is I'm opening an output file called flag.png, and I'm just writing out to that file the result of XORing the key with the file, which again, the XOR function in pwn tools is really handy for this because I can pass the whole file in to be XORed with the key. So let's run that now. And our flag file should be generated here shortly once this finishes executing. There we go. If we go back to the directory, we have flag.png, and if we open it, there's our flag, XORing my friend. So let's go ahead and type that in. And submit. All right, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Turn on post notifications to get regular injections of cyber content directly into your feed. Check out our Patreon, join our Discord, and follow us on Twitter. Links in the description box down below. And leave any feedback or questions in the comments section down below. This is Almond Milk. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, world.